Let's bring in NewsNation national security contributor Tracy Walder. She was also a CIA officer and FBI agent. Tracy, good morning to you. We know there are hundreds of law enforcement officers combing this area, and specifically 80 FBI agents are looking for the suspect who's now been on the run for about 36 hours. Given what we know so far, what all might be complicating the search for law enforcement right now?
Well, thank you so much for having me, Markie. I think what's complicating them is actually the fact that there's really four options here in terms of where he could have gone. Either he killed himself, he escaped by boat, he fled on foot, or he fled to another waiting vehicle or a vehicle that he had stashed somewhere. So that makes it very difficult because now you sort of have four flanks upon which you are pursuing this subject. So that in and of itself, quite frankly, is the most complicating factor in this investigation.
Yeah, we know they found his car next to a boat dock. He has a boat registered in his name. If he did get away on boat or an accomplice on boat, who knows where he could be at this time. Tracy, when this story first broke and really his military background and training was revealed, we knew that would add a layer of complexity to the case. Robert Card is U.S. Army Reserves, trained as a firearms instructor. What's the likelihood of officials finding him, given the fact that he's a highly skilled marksman with a special set of skills that most other suspects would not have?
So here's one thing I do want to kind of walk back on that. He has not seen combat deployment at all, and he has not been combat trained. So I do think that that is a layer upon which we have to look at this. Yes, he is a very highly skilled marksman. There's no doubt about that. And so they're going to have to approach him, obviously, with extreme caution. But in terms of survival skills, he certainly may have them, but this is not someone that was necessarily trained in survival skills. However, I think the one thing that he has going for him is he does have a bit of a head start. Also, I do think, and I've said this before, I think this was something that he has planned. And so he has that element. And I think that's going to make it in his favor in terms of being able to get away a lot quicker than, sort of what we've seen in the past. I do think he's really planned this out.
Yeah. So Tracy, given what you know about him, he's not trained in combat, maybe not a survivalist. What specific tactics do you think he's using right now if he's still alive?
In terms of specific tactics, I think one of the things he's probably using are burner phones, if he's even communicating at all. I wonder if he is at all, simply because this is someone, it's been reported that he was suffering from sort of paranoid delusion. So I am curious as to whether or not he's maybe gone digitally underground, and that makes it extremely difficult if he has gone dark. So I think that's probably something that he is really using to his advantage.
Obviously, we all know Card is considered to be armed and dangerous. He was upgraded yesterday from a person of interest to a suspect. Shelter-in-place orders remain in effect. They've continued to expand to neighboring communities. How concerned are you that he could hurt even more people, especially given that time keeps on ticking here and he likely grows more desperate by the hour?
Margie, I am very concerned, actually, that he might continue to hurt more people. This is someone who has made threats against a military installation in the past. I'd be interested to know, when they served the search warrant in his house, if they found other targets of interest. It seems to me that the targets he's looking at are personal ones to him: the bowling alley, the bar. He most likely had a connection to those places, as well as probably to the military institution. So I'd be very, very concerned about the surrounding area. You also have two universities, Bowdoin College and Bates College, that are really close by as well. So I'm very concerned, actually, about this immediate area, specifically because he seems to be targeting things that mean something to him.
Yeah, we know schools at least 50 miles away have been closed down for this Friday, too, headed into the weekend. Tracy Walder, thank you so much, as always, for your time and your expertise this morning. Hopefully next time we chat, he's been caught.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.